Hello, I'm Tom. I'm here at the University of Sheffield with comedian and activist Eddie Izzard. Hello, Eddie. Welcome to the university.
Hello, and I'm an actor as well.
You are an actor, activist, all the things.
Yes, but here I'm as an activist. And I'm here, even though you haven't asked a question,
Yep.
to try and get young people, particularly students, who understand to register, use smartphone. I bring it along just to wave it, because 2-3 minutes on that. You put in register to vote, and you can register, because all the older people are registered. And don't let older people tell you what your future should be through this camera here. Don't let them tell you what to do. You tell people what you want to do. So register and vote on the 23rd. No matter which way, even if it's for or against, I don't mind. Just get in there. But if you are voting for leave, European Union, the actual referendum's on the 24th for you people. So just, you don't need to go on the 23rd, just go to the 24th. And the 23rd for all the remaining.
On the note of in and out.
That's a joke, by the way.
What do you think is the most likely factor that will change people's opinion on whether they're in or out?
Well, I think if you take just a pound in your pocket, the economy, all the experts say that we could well tip into recession. Brexit is almost synonymous with the recession now, you know? Brexession. It's almost an anagram of it. You put a couple of S's in there and that Brexit word almost says recession. They're not even arguing the case anymore on that side. They're just saying immigration, immigration, immigration. And you understand things are tough. We've got Syria. We have to get that into a better place. But to fix things in Europe, we need to be inside it. But above all, I say the economy. Young people, if you want low-cost flights to Europe, if you want those to continue, then vote Remain, because otherwise there'll be less flights and the cost will go up. Your roaming costs go down to 0 extra roaming costs next year. That will disappear. Those costs will go up. And the free healthcare in 28 countries, that will disappear. And Erasmus, you can be a student all across Europe. You can go and get a job anywhere across Europe, 28 countries. All that will become more difficult with having to get job papers, work visas, all that kind of stuff. So there's the opportunity, just humanity, above all the humanity of it. Surely this is what we do as human beings. We learn to live together and work together in some shape or form. We are the United Kingdom, not the hate each other, let's go and stab each other, fight, guns, bang, what we used to do in the United Kingdom. But then we said, no, stop fighting, let's work together, live together in some shape or form. And that's what we're trying to do in Europe. We're the first continent to ever try to do this. It's a very difficult thing, but to fix it, we need to be inside it to make it better.
You said that we're the first continent to do this, but why do you think Britain is the first to really have the opportunity to leave? Most countries, there's a lot of countries joining, but why is it that Britain wants to actually leave?
Well, we have an island nation, we're an island nation. We have a certain island attitude towards things some people say, is this anything to do with us? But, the Scandinavians also have a skeptic view in there, but there's a lot of people who are very positive. A lot of us are very positive. But the arguments that are for are more complex and complicated to argue. It's about learning to live together, work together in some shape or form. It's like the open-handed politics. You want a positive vision of the future? Young people, I think, want a positive vision. I'm trying to head towards a world where all 7 billion people have a fair chance.
You're doing these talks in a few different languages, or you're doing performing in other
all
languages?
The speeches. I'm doing 31 cities in 31 days where I'm doing speeches in English to all people who speak English all around the UK. But I'm also doing 333 gigs, which is 3 shows in 3 languages in 3 hours. Tonight in Sheffield at the Lead Mill, I will be playing in German at 7 p.m, then in French at 8 p.m, and then in English at 9 p.m. And it shows what I have done, taking comedy that I've developed and built in with a little sword and a little hammer and nail. I've built it in Britain, and I'm taking it all around the world, 28 countries around the world so far.
Wow.
And I'm touring in France in French. I played to 5,200 people last year in France. I don't think anyone's ever done, any English speakers ever done that. The bands, they turn up and they go, "Bonsoir, Paris." And then they say, "That's all I know. A monkey lives in a tree." And then they sing the monkey song. And Germany, I played 2 months in Berlin. Alles auf Deutsch, and I just played Vienna 2 weeks ago in German, and I think this is positive. I'm trying to give a positive
So do you think
viewpoint.
It's making everyone more equal when you do things in different languages, or would you say that if we... this is quite a controversial topic, but if there was a universal language, would that make us more equal?
No, the universal language is not, well, like an Esperanto, I don't think it's going to happen. Somebody came up with Latin the other day. In fact, English has become what they call the lingua franca. People just use English because on its basic level, English is very easy. It hasn't got double U's, it hasn't got masculine and feminine, it hasn't got genitives and datives. So people like that, all around the world, they're using that, which is brilliant for English speakers. It means you can go to anywhere in Europe and you'll probably get by in English. I'm just trying trying to be more positive about it and more open and say, well, I've learned French as well. Hello, French people. How are you? Bonjour, les Français. Ça va? Ça marche? And I've tried to encourage comedians from there to perform in English. There are 2 French comedians now performing in English, and I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's
the
incredible.
Germans. Henning Venn. Anyone heard of Henning Venn?
Yeah, I've been
German
seeing,
comedian.
fantastic.
We grew up. We all British people grew up with people saying the Germans have no sense of humor. It was almost beaten into us.
Yeah.
And because of world wars and stuff like this, and then Henning turns up and says, "Well, I think I can do a bit of comedy," and he does it, and we go, "He's quite funny."
Yeah.
And then people are paying to see him, and they see him on the telly. That's a beautiful thing. So it just shows this is the 3rd millennium. We've got to make the entire world work. Hope is the fuel of civilization. Despair is the fuel of terrorism. So we've got to be putting more hope into the world than taking it out.
Okay, so on the note of equality and making everyone equal, recently here at the University of Sheffield, I don't know if you heard, there was the gender-neutral toilets were vandalised. And, you know, it was quite a big scandal. But as someone who identifies, as you've said, a lesbian in a man's body, what do you think about gender fluidity and having no genders at all? Would that be like a sign of equality if everyone had no gender?
I wouldn't term it like that. I'd just say, you know, vive la similarité and vive la différence. You know, I think if you're straight, that's great. If you're gay, that's great. LGBT, that's great. On the toilet problem, I just say get rid of urinals. If you get rid of all urinals and just have cubicles, then everyone can share. Women won't have to queue because there's huge queues that women have to have and men are just zipping in and out. Why don't we just have all toilets open? You go to a restaurant, there's one toilet, everyone uses it. Men behave responsibly. Women are always great with it. You know, and then you don't even have the gender-neutral toilets because everything will be gender-neutral. They just lose. Most people are just going in there to go to the loo. And that's what, you know, and as a transgender guy, I sometimes want to go to the loo. I just go to the loo. So it's, people just got to, and the vandalism comes from people with hatred in their bodies, in their minds. They just have hate and fury, and it's probably about themselves. There's probably something in themselves that's wrong. It's not problems with us, it's actually problems with them. This is what I worked out when I came out 31 years ago. I shouldn't be feeling guilt and shame. I think if other people have a problem with me, then they can go and see a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist can work with them and deal with the problems. I support Crystal Palace. I went to Crystal Palace and Manchester United.
Did you go to the final?
I went to the final. One guy attacked me. Out of 70,000, only one. I thought that was kind of beautiful. He was horrible. He said, you are a disgrace to our team to be wearing the Crystal Palace shirt. You are a disgrace, Izzard. And I pushed back at him and said, well, that's not right. And then all the Palace fans who were around me, they went, hey, mate, Jay, back off. Everyone backed me up. And the Man United supporters are really good. Everyone, as you were just about to say, only one guy out of 70,000. I thought that was
a pretty good ratio.
Yeah, I think if we're getting to that, whereas 10 years ago, it could have been 10 guys, and 40 years ago, it would have been a whole section of people would have been attacking me.
Yeah. In 2011, you said you were going to run for London Mayor.
Or Member of Parliament.
Or a Member of Parliament, or European Parliament. Are you still on track for that by 2020?
2020, I want to go for Member of Parliament. Yeah.
Okay. Not London Mayor anymore?
No, Sadiq Khan's got him, which is great.
What do you think of Sadiq Khan?
Well, it's great. I just want someone from our team getting in, and so that's great. And on this referendum, it's a broad coalition going forward, and Sadiq is about to go onto a platform with David Cameron. I think that's very positive. And you know, this is what. I like people working together. I'm quite an individual, as people have noticed. When I ran my marathons, when I do my gigs in French, my brother helps me. My brother, Mark Izzard, is the language expert, so he translates all my stuff. But when I'm on the stage or when I'm running, it's just me out there. But then I like working with teams. I like other people. I think people are great. I think most people, except for the extremists, I think most people are great.
Okay. So one last point. The American election is also coming up soon.
Yes, indeed.
What do you think? How do you think the outcome of the American election will affect the United Kingdom and our position in Europe?
Well, I think if Hillary Clinton, looks like Hillary's going to get the Democratic nomination. If she gets in, I think it'll be great for Britain. And if Donald Trump gets in, I have no idea what's going to happen. I really don't know. And, you know, he has said some extreme things. And
are you worried about Donald Trump, like what he may do if he gets into...
Yeah, are you? Isn't everyone?
I think I am a little bit. It's quite scary, some of the things he says.
I know.
How extreme his views are.
Well, we know that extremists, they have a simplistic view. The trouble why they're beginning is they have a simplistic view. He said, ban all Muslim people from America. It's a one-stop shop. You do this one thing and then everything will be fine. That's not how it works, because the vast majority of Muslim people are very live and let live, positive people. Charity is built into the Muslim religion. I was born in a Muslim country. Sadiq Khan is a Muslim man. He's the first Muslim mayor, I think, in the Western, in the developed world. So in Europe. So these are positive things that are going out, and I think Donald Trump is bringing more negativity than positivity. He's just doing it in a sort of, I say whatever's in my mind type thing. And we've seen that before. It has never got to a good place.
Do you think he may just be doing it to get the votes? Or do you think he genuinely believes what he says?
Who knows? Who knows what Donald Trump actually thinks? But if you track back... See, I just tell people, track back on Donald Trump and down through the decades, and you just think, does that add up to exactly the person you'd like running America? But this is up for... The Americans will vote on that, and it won't be up to us. But I say this about myself as well. Whether people should listen to me or not, just track back on what I've done in life. I've tried to live a positive, play with a straight bat, as we say in cricket, which I was never very good at cricket, but I do. I've tried to be open and upfront, and if I say this is a positive idea, I'm trying to live it by touring in French and German. This was my idea of a positive way I could show we could be positive, in Europe. And I think that's better than being negative. Surely positive is better than negative. My name is King Gustaf of Sweden, and you have been watching Forge TV. Eddie Izzard also wishes you well and says register by the 7th of June, baby. Yes, and if you're going to Glastonbury, register before you go to Glastonbury. Michael Evers says that, and Emily Evers, and all the Evers family, and it's groovy. And then vote Remain. And you can vote Leave if you want, but don't. Not a good idea. Remain, let's be strong. Fight for the future.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much.